Welcome to Veterans Voice. This is Ron Waters. I'm your host. We'll be interviewing a fellow veteran from the Navy today. And we want to encourage you to stay tuned because this is a very interesting story. We'll be right back. Today I have a special guest with me, a Navy veteran. His name is Robert Allen Gilarski. Everybody calls him Bobby.
Yeah.
And Bobby, we want to hear some of the things that happened to you in Vietnam, some of the experiences that you had. You served in the Navy from 65, let's see, I think you told me December 65 through October of 69.
Yes, sir.
So that was all Vietnam War era, so, and you were, had obtained the rank of E4, which is a third class petty officer. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, in the Marines we call it corporal, E4. So
You're a corporal.
I was a corporal.
Yeah.
So what was your MOS in the Navy?
I was a storekeeper.
Storekeeper?
Yes, sir. Supply.
Supply. You were in supply.
Yes, sir. Supply.
So did you have to unload ships and things like that?
Oh, yeah. Offload. When you talk about in Vietnam, yeah, that was the first job I had over in Vietnam. Was they call it stevedoring.
Stevedoring.
The stevedore.
Oh.
They sent us to special training in Little Creek, Virginia, to learn how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I started a lot. We offloaded ammunition ships.
Yeah.
Tanks.
Were there ever any accidents?
No, nothing like that. They were pretty efficient and safe people,
Yeah.
I never remember anything
Yeah.
hazardous happen.
Yeah.
Not that I recall anyway.
So you probably unloaded ammunition and all the explosives and things?
Oh, yeah, ammunition, explosives, frozen food, soda pop, beer.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes for an army to survive on, we handled.
Probably a lot of beer, huh?
Right. Everything.
Now, you were stationed, what was the name of your camp? What was that?
My camp when I was in Vietnam was in Da Nang, but it was called Camp Tinshaw.
Tinshaw.
Camp Tinshaw.
Is that named after an old
I have no
veteran
idea
or
what it was named after. That's what it was called, and that's what we called it,
Yeah.
It was a Navy camp. They had EM clubs there, and they had the bowling alley there. They had a hamburger place you can go and eat.
Yeah, so you were not too close from China Beach, right?
No, China Beach was downtown, right outside downtown Da Nang,
Yeah.
No, I went to China Beach a few times.
Now the sun doesn't set on China Beach, does it?
No, because
I like that Hollywood movie.
No, because the
sun
sun
rises
sets in the
on
west,
China Beach.
and you're facing east.
That's right.
People don't realize that, but it's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that Hollywood got it wrong there.
Yeah.
So near Da Nang there.
I was in Da Nang, right.
Now, I was stationed at Marble Mountain, which
I'm
on the shore,
with.
more or less, and we weren't about 7 miles from Da Nang. There was a lot of explosions over there a couple nights. I think the VC, they come in there with their rockets. I mean, it was some huge explosion. They hit a lot of those storage fuel tanks, and so
got to knock the supply out.
That was in the middle of '67. So now, were you there? What time were you there exactly?
From when to when? I was from June '67 to June '68.
Well, you might have been there about that time then.
I was stationed in Da Nang from June '67, and I left there December 29th and went north. They shipped us north to replace a supply base.
How far north did you go?
Went to the city of Hue.
Hue, which is just
ancient capital of Vietnam.
A little bit north of Phu Bai, right?
I don't know if it's north of Phu Bai. I think it's south of Phu Bai a little bit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because I was stationed also at Phu Bai.
Well, that was my, when I got to Da Nang, when I got to Hue, that's where our barracks were at. They were set up in the air base at Phu Bai.
Yeah.
So we had to go, but I thought it was like 60 miles north. It wasn't that far.
Yeah.
Because we travel in convoys, supply convoys we travel
Yeah.
deliver the stuff from
And
way to
at that time, there's just one main highway through
yeah,
Vietnam.
that was it.
Highway 1, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah. So that
That
was
was
the
it. And
only
they,
way you
you
get
know,
there.
there was no, they knew we were coming down them roads. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, were you ever at during the night times? We had a lot of flares go off and everything. So I'm sure you had the VC in your area too. So anything happened during that time?
I had more NVA that was doing all the damage to us than it was the VC because they had controlled half the city.
The NVA is the North Vietnamese.
North Vietnamese, right.
Yeah.
It was the trained soldiers.
Yeah.
That's the ones that took over the city.
Yeah.
They had complete control of it until our U.S. Marines
Yeah.
came in and kind of pushed them out.
Yeah.
They took a few lives doing it, but
Yeah, they did.
it was, I think Hue was the most Marines got killed in Hue than any other action in Vietnam,
so.
I believe.
Yeah, with maybe the exception of Hill 881. I think we
I'm
lost.
not familiar with that.
We lost 5,000.
But yeah.
5,000 Marines there. It's crazy because they took the hill, cost them 5,000 Marines, and then they withdrew.
Okay.
Then they had to take the hill again a month or two later. Crazy.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. Of course, that was up in the Khe Sanh area.
Yeah, Khe Sanh, which is not too far from Hue.
I spent one day at Khe Sanh. That was enough. Yeah. We were in there with helicopters
that
and
wasn't,
out.
That's not too far from Hue either. It's west of us, you know.
Yeah. So it's a pretty rough terrain and
oh yeah,
a lot of mountains in that area. Did you ever get to go to the Bob Hope show?
No,
he
I never
was
got
in
a
Da Nang.
chance to do any of that.
He was in Da Nang in '67. I know that. I just didn't get to go. But
I saw Floyd Patterson. Remember Floyd Patterson?
No, I don't.
Heavyweight champion of the world.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I seen him.
Did you get to see what was her name? That movie star. She was pretty young at the time.
I never seen no major stars. I seen Floyd Patterson, and most of the groups that I saw were groups that were Vietnamese formed groups and everything, you know, or American GIs that got together and did something. There was I never saw.
I think
no main stars or anything, you know.
Yeah, I think what was the name of the group that they performed there on our base? Steve, I can't think of his name. He's on.
Stevie Wonder?
No, wasn't Stevie Wonder. It was. He became a famous rock star later. You know, he's still around. Does a lot of ads and stuff. But I remember them singing the song. I want to go home.
Oh, you're talking.
I want to go home.
Oh,
oh, how I want to go home.
Oh, I'm trying
remember
to think of the name. I'm thinking of Eric Burden. You remember Eric Burden?
I don't.
He was do you remember one of the theme songs of Vietnam Soldier back then? What it was?
No, I don't remember that one. What?
It was a song by Eric Burden and the Animals.
Oh yeah.
The name of it was called "I Got to Get Out of This Place."
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Well, I didn't know the title. I remember the song. Yeah.
You know,
I got to get out of this place.
Yeah. When that song came on in any club and there was GIs and everything in there,
they all join in.
Oh yeah, it was a theme song. We had to get out of this place. You know, it was the last thing we ever did.
That's the last thing we ever did. Yeah. I think that was part of the song. I want to go home.
No, it is part of the song.
Yeah.
I could probably sing it, but I ain't.
Well, you know, the radio station we had in Vietnam, the Servicemen's radio station, was up there on Monkey Mountain.
Right.
Which is probably real close, just close to your base, you know, where you're stationed.
No, it's right there, because I was, like I said, I was stationed in Da Nang Harbor there. That's where we worked on actually, when I was in Da Nang, I wasn't living on land. I lived on a barge.
Oh, I see.
It was a personnel type of carrier ship, where all it did was house people. It had a lunchroom in there, and you housed a place to shower and sleep, and that was it. And then you went back to your job. So I didn't even have a barracks. I slept on a barge. That's all it was.
On a barge.
A portable living space, what it was. They had like 5 of them.
Yeah.
And all the guys that worked down at the Deepwater Pier stayed there, because it wasn't that's close to their job then, you know.
Yeah.
You know, we worked 12-hour shifts.
Now, you told me earlier that you had some brothers that was also in Vietnam.
Yeah, I had 2 brothers with me over at the same time. We were staggered by times we were there, but we all got together at one point.
That's kind of unusual. I mean,
well,
all of them.
I thought it was.
Now, one of them was in Navy?
I was in Navy. I had another brother in Navy that was stationed like 2 blocks away from me.
Really?
Yeah,
At the
in
same
Da
time?
Nang. I seen him every day. It was,
Wow.
it was kind of unusual, but
Yeah, it is.
and everybody knew we were brothers.
And your other brother was in
he was
Marine?
Army.
He was in the Army.
He was in the Army. He was stationed in Queen Yan. Are you
Queen
familiar
Yan.
with the city of Queen Yan?
I'm not.
It's
is
on the
that
coast.
south of.
It's like halfway between Da Nang and Saigon.
Yeah.
It's the main city.
Yeah.
Big Army base there.
Yeah. Yeah, they had some helicopter squadron down there.
Oh yeah, they had a helicopter base down there.
Yeah.
We flew down on a C-130 from Da Nang down to.
Yeah. Those are fun to ride in, aren't they?
Yeah, it was kind of noisy.
You packed in there like
noisy,
sardines and no windows.
Didn't cost us nothing. We had to pay no airfare. It was kind of nice.
Yeah. That's how I landed in Vietnam from Okinawa.
C-130?
C-130. Yeah. Boy, them things are loud. You couldn't even talk to the guy next to you. So your job was more or less supply.
Yes, I was a supply guy.
And you had some brothers in Vietnam. What did they do?
One brother was he was a quartermaster. He was an E6.
E6.
He was a first-class petty officer.
Oh, okay.
And he was in charge. He had a crew that was in charge of setting all the buoy harbors and lights.
Oh,
in Da Nang Harbor. That was his job.
I see. Yeah.
They'd go out and replace the lights or fix buoys or whatever they had to do with the harbor navigation system. That was his job. You know, he had like 5 guys that worked for him.
Yeah.
I went out with him a few times too on the boat. It was kind of nice, you know.
They probably got a little sniper fire too, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Yeah. But Da Nang was a pretty secure place, you know. I never seen nothing happen in Da Nang, you know.
Yeah.
You probably get in a fight easier than you get shot, you know.
Yeah, or a rocket on top of you or something.
Yeah, well, I never even seen too much because everything, you know, they're kind of spread out away from the city, you know. It's just, there's nothing close where they can put maybe artillery, but even, artillery wouldn't last very long. You'd knock it out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as far as mortars go, you can set a mortar light and set it up, blow it off and take off, but I never seen them at Da Nang. Da Nang was pretty calm place as far as I remember, you know.
Yeah. Well, I remember one night we were watching a fireworks show, real fireworks. It happened over there close to the airport, Da Nang, and they were hitting some storage tanks, and some of the Air Force guys, their barracks got hit pretty bad. We thought we were pretty safe. We were on the shore.
I could picture that.
Pretty much on the shore, our base at Marble Mountain. And it was the biggest helicopter squadron in South Vietnam, MAB 16. We thought we were pretty safe until one night we got hit pretty hard with rockets, 140 millimeter rockets.
Well, you were a little bit more away from the city too, weren't you?
We were, we were actually about 7 miles.
I was kind of like, the city was like between me and the harbor, you know. So it was kind of, we had control of kind of everything in that area there, you know.
Pretty much, yeah.
Where you didn't, your outskirts were kind of, anything could happen out there, you know.
Yeah. Well, about the time you think you're okay or you're safe, you know, that's when you get it.
You never think that.
Yeah.
Always expect the unexpected because that's what's going to happen, you know.
Yeah. So, unloading and loading ships, and did they have any CBs or what do they call them? The Navy.
CBs?
CBs,
yeah. Construction battalion.
Yeah, there's construction battalion.
I wasn't, they had CBs, they were working on the equipment, if your equipment broke down, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, when I moved to, they shipped me up north to Hue, the city of Hue, I was on a small Navy supply base. And we had big forklifts that we drove to offload these LCUs. Yeah. You know what an LCU is? Boat comes up and the ramp drops down. It's called LCU, Landing Craft Utility.
Landing Craft, yeah.
And then you'd go in with the forklifts and take whatever cargo was in there. You take it out and you put it on flatbed trailers waiting outside, you know.
Yeah, those
we might get 10, 15 of those LCUs in a day.
Really?
And we'd have to work until they're all done. But the bad part about that was when we first went up there, the city was controlled by half of the enemy.
Yeah.
So we were always in mortar, rocket, small arms. We were always in their range all the time.
Yeah.
Until the Marines came in and cleaned them out.
Yeah.
But we might get hit 2-3 times a day. I'd be offloading an LCU, and they would just open up on us, and you had no protection, you know?
No.
So we got to jump off our equipment and run into our bunkers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they just kept firing. This was heavy fire. It could have been firing at you for an hour.
Yeah.
But they couldn't knock the people out. Then eventually,
I think Michael Swinford said that they were a bad shot. They were poor shots.
Well, they were shooting at us. Now, personally, nobody on my base ever got hit.
Yeah.
You know, so we kept our heads down.
Yeah.
But the only way they stopped it was they would call in air support, and then the choppers would come in with the rockets and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the F-4 Phantoms would come in and they would drop tear gas over there or napalm.
Yeah.
And that would eliminate the contact for a while. But you give them 5, 6, 7, 8 hours or.
I know, they regroup.
And they'd regroup and they'd come right back and you'd go the same thing every day. It might happen to you 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
You know, just depending on how bad you hurt them when you went and hit them, you know.
That's true, yeah.
But it went on like that for damn close to a month, pretty steady.
Yeah, they were.
Then towards the end, that's when I got to know the city away was a beautiful city.
Now we had some issues on our base. Some of we called them gooks. You know.
Gooks, yeah. Well, we all called them that.
You know, but they were South Vietnamese.
Yeah.
And they worked on the base there with us, and some of them worked in the shop.
Yeah.
And we caught one of them one day stealing nails. He was taking nails home with him that night.
Probably building a house with it.
No.
I don't know. Making a bomb out of it?
Later we discovered he was an actual VC at night.
Okay.
And, of course, they used those nails in their booby traps.
Sure.
Handmade hand grenades, they'd wrap them around. And, of course, when the explosive went off, the nails went everywhere.
It's like shrapnel.
You know, and it was pretty bad. But so he got caught. So everybody thought he's a real friendly guy. You know, everybody thought he was on our side. You know, we were there helping them. We thought,
know.
But there were some of them like that. You know, they were kind of like double agents. You know, and but you never knew. You couldn't turn your back. You couldn't.
I had them probably around me, but I couldn't tell you. You know.
And some of the little kids, you know, would carry a grenade around, and you didn't know it. We lost a couple guys at the guard shack, you know, in front of the PC.
Okay.
And the PX, rather, and just kids coming around, and they were handing out candy bars. One of them lobbed a grenade in there, and they ran off. They got it.
Well, I had kids come up to me all the time. That was another thing.
We were walking down the street one day, and one of them stole my buddy's watch right off his wrist, and he didn't even know it until we got about 100 feet away, and he said, "Hey, where's my wristwatch?" You know.
There was bad ones, right? But you know what? There were some good ones too.
They were just trying to survive, you know. But you never knew what to expect, you know.
I don't know if I grew up in a situation like that, how I would react. You know, I would probably want to do the same damn thing. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They're just trying to survive.
Yeah. Well, that country had been in war before we got there.
Yeah.
With the French.
Oh yeah, the French had it before us.
The French tried to, you know, they tried to.
That's why a lot of the words that are used in Vietnam are a lot of French words. You know.
They were, yeah.
Beaucoup and.
Yeah. Beaucoup, you were crazy, right?
Yeah. Beaucoup means many.
Yeah.
You know.
Beaucoup many. Yeah.
Beaucoup dinky dow.
Dinky dow, that's the one.
Beaucoup dinky dow.
Yeah, that's the expression.
That means you're very stupid.
Very stupid and crazy. Yeah.
I know a few other ones, but they're not very nice.
Yeah.
So I'll keep them to myself.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They knew how to communicate. You know?
Yeah. No, they could communicate, that's for sure.
So what was the most interesting thing you did over there? Or the most
interesting thing was offloading them LCUs, and they come upriver. I mean, these things were loaded with everything possible you could imagine.
Yeah.
And we'd offload them, and we'd have like flatbed trailers sitting outside. Right outside where we'd load them. We'd come up there, we'd load the trailers fill each one trailer. Driver would pull away, he'd tie it down, the next one would come up. We'd end up loading like 100 trailers or more in a day. And then they'd wait for each other, and then we'd go into a convoy up to Fubai.
Yeah, yeah.
So if we got attacked and we had, it was in big force.
Yeah.
And they had a couple Ontos. You remember what Ontoses were?
No.
They had the 106 cordless rifles on them. They had 6 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And they usually had one of them right in the front of our convoy and one in the back.
Oh, yeah.
And if they ever got any fire or anything from any village, they would just open up with them Ontos, man.
Yeah.
It was, they were like anti-aircraft guns, what they were.
Yeah.
You know? They had the big clips they stick in them.
Yeah.
And they just hit them, you know,
yeah.
And it would tear everything up. I mean, it would tear everything up, buddy.
I think it was a 50 millimeter, or what was it, bigger than that?
40. I think 40? They were 40s.
Yeah.
You know? They came on a big clip.
shell.
Came on a big clip, man.
Yeah.
The guys just keep firing them in there. And then whenever they catch fire from anywhere, which they did a couple times.
Yeah.
Because they still had control of a lot of the city, even though we were leaving it. The outskirts, they had their packs of people here and there, you know.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
What they would do after we would go back, they had a pipeline going from Way 2 to Fubai. It had a pipeline along the side of the road. And what they would do at nighttime was, we'd go back to our bases, and then there'd be no travel on the highway at night. They'd come up, they'd tear all that pipe up, they'd stack it in the road, and they would booby trap it.
Oh, boy.
Now, we'd come in the next morning with our trucks. We'd have to stop. They had an EOD team that came with us.
Yeah.
They'd get out there, and they had to take this thing all apart,
yeah,
dismantle it before we
find out where the booby traps were.
But you might do that 2 or 3 times in that road in a 60-mile period, you know.
Yeah.
It was kind of goofy, man.
Yeah.
And most of the road, you had rice paddies on both sides.
Did the Navy have their own combat engineers, or did they have to call in the Marines? Because that's what I was.
I don't know.
We handled the explosives and stuff like that, you know. So.
No, everything we had was support from the Army or Marines or whatever, as far as tactical stuff, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, the Marines are under.
I mean,
under
all
the
Navy guys had their own weapons and everything, but that's all we had. We didn't have no.
Yeah. But it, you know, you had to watch your back over there all the time. Watch your buddy's back. But I don't think anybody that's ever been in a war zone really knows the risk that our servicemen take, you know, because lots of times our allies that we're fighting for, many times they can't be trusted, and you don't know who they are.
Well,
you know? So that's the thing that impressed me most about the Vietnam War. When I was over there, you didn't know who the enemy was, really. It could be anybody. You know,
I think a lot of times that's the way the guys feel in the Middle East now. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't know who the enemy is.
That's
you know?
right.
I mean, hey.
That's right.
They're actually, I think they had a whole lot tougher than Vietnam, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree with you.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, you're fighting in your neighborhood. That's a whole lot different than fighting in the darn jungle, buddy.
That's right. It is.
They know all the places. They know all the places in the jungle too.
Yeah.
But you know what? It didn't take soldiers to learn.
Yeah.
You know, you either learned or you died. One of the two. You know.
Yeah. Now, when you come home, did you come home on a ship?
No. They flew me home.
Yeah. You think in the Navy you'd take a ship home, but.
No, I flew over there and I flew back on a aircraft.
Yeah.
But they're saying, you know, you're talking about, they probably had 25 loads of guys coming at the Nang Airport that day.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you talk about, you're switching guys out every year. You got to have guys coming in, rotating pretty regular, you know.
That's the way we went over and back on.
If they do it on a ship, it take too long for one thing, you know.
That's what I feared the most, you know.
Going on a ship?
Going on a ship, you know. Cause,
well, you know what? I was in the Navy, but out of 4 years in the Navy, I only spent 21 days at sea.
Really?
It was 7 days over to Hawaii, 7 days back to California, 7 days over to Hawaii, and then I got discharged. They flew me all the way back. So, out of 4 years in the Navy, I was at sea 21 days, man.
21 days.
And I got sea pay the whole time. I was pretty lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, we flew over and back, so. as they called it, across the pond.
Yeah,
big
across
pond.
the pond.
So, what would you say to our young veterans nowadays? Those that are the guys thinking about going in? Of course,
I just think they got. I think they got a lot tougher over there, man. Myself, I really do, man. Because you got to worry about. I mean, they had IEDs back in Vietnam, but they were minute compared to what they do now. I mean,
so powerful.
Those back in them days, you might kill 3 or 4 people. I mean, these people, they're killing 75, 80 people at a crack, and not counting the wounded. You know, so
amazing. Especially
that's
car
what
bombs.
I think. Those. The vets coming back from there, especially with the IEDs they experienced, that's where the PTSD comes in, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel that they got it worse than I ever could have it, man.
Yeah, right.
You know? That's my personal opinion.
I think you're right. It's got to be tougher on them.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm as glad when I got over there that I didn't already have a wife and a family. The guys that had families that were over there, it was hard on them, you know. So
it's a different military now than it was 50 years ago, buddy.
It's a different military.
Oh, different military.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys are married. Hell, they go in there married. I mean, back in my day, nobody ever went into service when they were married.
No, no.
Yeah.
I didn't even have a girlfriend when they
If you were drafted, I think you'd get out of it because of that, because you were married or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think if you had a child, they could probably get you out of it. But I was farming with my dad.
I never remember married. I remember guys being married that got drafted, but not with kids.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, put it that way. I don't know if that was the role back then. I don't know what the role was.
Yeah, I knew some married guys. They didn't have kids yet, but they wanted to serve for their country, you know, and we were sent over there toting.
Sure.
We were told that we're fighting communism. I think it was a little bit more than that.
If it, you know, all wars have different reasons for fighting. Okay.
Yeah.
Probably 3/4 are none of them good.
None of it's good.
But who decides that? You know.
Yeah.
Our government. You know. That's all I could say.
Yeah. So
I enjoyed my time in the service. I enjoyed my 4 years. I enjoyed the Navy. It was a good experience for me.
We want to say thanks for the service that you did for our country, and we want to just say welcome home.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming in today. So that just about wraps it up for us. So we're going to say we'll be back next time. Thank you for watching.